Hi Maricourt Catholic High School, friends and families, welcome back to Yoga with Vicky. In today's class we're going to be trying to connect the mind and body. We're going to try to stay in the present moment, so that means that we're not thinking about other things, we're right here, right now, trying not to get distracted and fidgety in the poses. If you've got a mat then that's great. But if not, no worries, just make sure you've got either grippy footwear on or no shoes at all so that the bare foot is nice and grippy on the floor. We're going to get started in a seated position. Now I'm sitting on a cushion. You might find it more comfortable to do the same thing, or you can simply just sit cross-legged on the floor. So whatever feels more comfortable for you. Place the hands onto the thighs and we're just going to take a moment to arrive, to become present and connected, to forget about everything else that was going on. So place the hands on the thighs, close down the eyes and take a few big deep breaths. Keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the spine tall, 2 more breaths. One last big deep breath. Opening the eyes, we start the class feeling calm and present. Take an inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, place the right hand down and reach the left arm up and over, feeling that side body stretch. Try not to lift up so much that the sit bones lift off the floor. Stay seated down, reach those fingertips all the way up and over. Let's inhale as we reach both arms up, and then exhale to plant the left hand down and reach the right arm up and over. Reach those fingertips all the way over to the side until you can't reach anymore, whilst keeping the bottom down on the floor. So you might notice that we synchronise some of the movements with the breaths. If you find that difficult though, just go with the flow. Do what you can. Inhale, reach both arms up, and this time when you exhale you're going to bring the left hand to the outside of the right leg, other hand behind, and we twist to look behind. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, right hand to the outside of left thigh, and then we twist and look behind. Inhale to reach both arms up, and exhale to bring the hand into prayer, centre of the chest. Coming into cat and cow. So remove the cushion and come into a tabletop position, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips, and then take an inhale, belly drops down, gaze up. When you exhale, the spine lifts up. Inhale, chest lifts through the arms. Exhale, spine lifts up. So you're sort of in the shape of an angry cat, pushing the palms into the floor. Inhale, try to lift the sit bone, tailbone lifted. Exhale, tailbone curls. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Well done. Meet in a neutral tabletop position. Let's come into puppy stretch. So keep the legs as they are, but just walk the hands forwards like a dog does when he's about to go for a big walk. He drops his chest down, so you can maybe bring the forehead onto the mat, keeping the sit bones lifting up. Or if the flexibility is there, you can maybe look forwards and really drop the chest down towards the mat. Obviously don't force anything if the body doesn't feel comfortable. Just do what you can do. Feeling a nice stretch and lengthening. And then start to lift back up, walk the hands all the way back into that tabletop position. Now to challenge the core, let's lift the right leg, straighten it out, And then reach the opposite arm forwards. So finding balance, and you might be a bit wobbly, that's completely normal. Try to steady it out. Inhale, point the toes, reach the fingertips. Exhale, curl into a ball, elbow touches knee. Inhale, open out. Exhale, curl into a ball. Inhale like Superman, reaching away. Exhale into that little ball. And then place the left hand down, straighten out that right leg again. You're going to try to bring the right foot in between the hands. So bend the knee and plant it in between the hands. Really try to get it so that the knee is directly above the ankle and the hands are either side of the front foot. Once we feel okay, we're going to lift the arms up, sweep them all the way up, lift the hips up a bit as well, and then sink into those hips. Keep reaching up with the arms and sinking down into the hips, creating a nice long line through the front of the body. Finding balance. If you're wobbly, then you can hold onto your leg or you can hold onto a wall. Start to lift up the hips. Inhale. As you exhale, send the left arm forwards, right arm back. So we're twisting to the right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, opposite way, right arm forwards, left arm back. Inhale up. Exhale, twist it out. Inhale up. And exhale, twist and open. Now I want you to circle the arms down. Frame the front foot with the hands. Moving into half splits, walk the hands back, send the hips back, and then lift up your right toes. So we're flexing into that foot. Inhale to lift up the chest. And as you exhale, see if you can drop the chest down towards that leg. Now this is quite a strong stretch. You might need to keep a little bend in your front leg. Just do whatever feels good for you. Enjoy the stretch. Bend into the front knee, walk the hands forwards again. Keep the left hand down, reach the right arm up and look all the way up towards the fingertips. From here, reach that right arm to the back of the room and see if you can look back. Option to stay here, or if you want to go a little bit further, you can lift up the left foot and see if you can hold onto that foot with the right hand. If you've got hold, try to sink the hips down, feeling a deep stretch in the front of the leg. Good job. Don't worry if you can't do this one, because this is a difficult one. You just go to wherever you can. Release the foot, reach the arm all the way up and over, and frame the front foot again. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and then step all the way back into a high plank. Keeping your body nice and straight and strong. Drop the knees, drop down onto your belly, untuck the toes, and then move into cobra. So point the elbows back, inhale, lift up the chest, look forwards, exhale to lower down. Now we're going to do a locust pose next. So I want you to bring your arms to the sides of your waist, palms facing inwards, pointing the fingertips to the back, pointing the toes to the back. Inhale, squeeze and lift up the arms, the chest and the legs. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Really peel yourself up off the mat. Use your muscles, your strength. Exhale down. One more. Inhale, lift, squeeze. How high can you go? Point the fingers and toes. Exhale down. Awesome. Having a little break. Bring the hands. So one hand's on top of the other. Place the forehead onto the hands. And just have a little break. Maybe wiggle the hips from side to side. Give a little wiggle. Take a few deep breaths. Feeling that connection, mind and body, staying in the present moment, connected. Good, now place the hands directly underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and let's lift up into downward facing dog. Toes tuck under, hips lift up. Making that upside down V shape with the body, reaching the sit bones, the hips towards the sky. Maybe bending into the knees. And then let's take a little walk. Walk the dog around the park. So pedal out the feet. One heel drops, then the other. One heel drops, then the other. We're bending into the opposite knee. Feeling the stretch into the backs of the legs, into the hamstrings. Settle down the feet. Let's come into three-legged dog. So that tail, your right leg becomes the tail and sweeps all the way up. So your big toe is trying to reach for the sun. We did it in the last class, so maybe we've remembered. And from here, bend into your right knee. Bring your knee all the way onto the floor, just behind your right wrist. And then untuck the toes of the left foot and slide your leg all the way back. Coming into a pigeon pose. If you can, just move your right foot forwards a little bit and settle the hips as close to the floor as possible. Walk the hands forwards. And maybe we just stay here on our elbows. If that feels okay, maybe we can go a bit further and fully straighten out the arms, bringing the forehead onto the mat. Now this is a deep stretch for the glutes, which is just basically your bum. You should be feeling this in your bum and in your leg, maybe in your lower back area. Take those deep breaths. Keep that body-mind connection. Try not to get distracted. Good job. Walk the hands all the way back. And then before we come back into downward dog, I want you to see if you can reach your left hand back towards your left foot and bring your left heel towards your bum. You might find it nice to point the elbow up, and maybe you just want to bob a little bit with the foot, feeling that stretch again in the quad, the front of the leg. Let's release the foot. Oh, the cat's come to say hello. Reach the arm all the way up and over, tuck the toes, and let's come into that downward facing dog. So pedaling out the feet. And then let's drop down into tabletop. So just drop down the knees and you've arrived in tabletop. Let's do that same sequence on the second side. So let's lift our left leg, straighten it out, bring it in line with the body, and then find balance, reach the right arm. So it's opposite arm, opposite foot, and then point the toes and reach the fingertips away. Working with the breath, inhale, and as you exhale, curl into a ball, elbow to knee. Inhale, Superman, reach it out. Exhale into that ball. Inhale, Superman, reach. Exhale into that ball. Reach for the last time. And then place the right hand down, keep the left leg lifted up. Bend the left knee, bring it in towards the chest. See if you can plant the foot in between the hands. Again, making sure the ankle is directly below the knee. From here, let's lift up those arms, sweep them all the way up, lift up the chest, and then sink into the hips. So feeling a stretch in the front of the hip, but reaching the arms up, look up if you can. Sinking down in the hips, reaching up into the arms, and then lift up with the hips. Taking an inhale. As you exhale, right arm forwards, left arm back, sink the hips. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist to the other way, left arm forwards, right arm back. Inhale up if you get it the wrong way, don't worry. Open out. Inhale up. Exhale, open, and then windmill the arms to frame the front foot. Walk the hands back, move the hips back, and then point the toes of the left foot up towards the ceiling. If you can, straighten out this left leg, but if you can't, don't worry. Inhale to find length and lift the chest. Exhale to drop the chest down. Feeling that stretch. Just noticing, did it feel different on the other side or exactly the same? And it's normal to feel a little bit of difference. Lift up, walk the hands forwards again. Keep the right hand down, reach the left arm up, opening up for a twist. Look up towards those fingertips. And then with that same hand, left hand reaches to the back of the room, look towards the back. If you did it on the other side, maybe try again on this side. Bend into your right leg. See if you can hold on to the right foot with the left hand. If you can't do it, don't worry. It's a difficult pose, but try to sink into the hips and keep looking towards the back of the room. Deep breaths. Fantastic. Windmill that left arm all the way up and over. And then tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Step back into your high plank. Hold for a couple of breaths. Strong in those arms. Strong in the body. Let's lower down the knees. Bend the elbows. Come onto our belly. Untuck the toes. Inhale. Lift up the chest for cobra. Exhale to release. So we did locust before. We're going to do a slightly different option now. I want you to see if you can hold on to both of your feet. So reaching back, bending into the knees. And then we're going to lift up. We're going to hold it for a couple of breaths. So you're going to press the feet into the hands. And you're going to lift up the legs and lift up the chest. Inhale, off we go. Any amount that you can lift up is super. Doesn't have to be a million miles off the floor. One more breath. Really lift. Exhale to release. Nice job. Place the hands underneath the forehead. And let's just take that little break and maybe wiggle the hips a little bit, shaking them off. Take a couple of breaths. Coming into downward dog, so place the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, lift up the hips, making yourself into that upside down V shape once more. This time it's the left leg that's going to sweep up. Imagine it's the tail of the dog and it's trying to lift all the way up. The dog's really happy, its tail's lifting up and the big toe is trying to reach as high as possible. From here, bend left knee, place it down just behind your left wrist. And then untuck the back toes and just let the back leg slide back and settle the hips down into the mat. If you can, move that left foot forwards, even if it's just a centimetre, and that way we'll really feel the stretch in the right place. Pigeon pose, walk the hands forwards, drop onto the elbows, maybe this is enough. If you can, fully extend out the arms and just let the forehead come onto the mat. Take those nice deep breaths. Stay present, stay connected, try not to wander off. Don't get distracted. Awesome job. Walk the hands all the way back. Before we come back into downward dog, bend into your right foot. See if you can hold right foot, right knee. See if you can hold onto the foot and putting the elbow up and maybe bring the heel right in towards your right bum cheek. So maybe take those little pulses, feel the stretch in the front of the leg and release. Coming into downward dog, tuck the back toes, lift up the hips. And let's take some of those big deep breaths where we inhale through the nose and exhale with a big sigh out the mouth. Flush everything out. Release, let go one more time. Lovely. Drop down onto the knees. Come over onto your back. Let's take that bug hug. So knees onto the chest. Squeeze it in and just rock from side to side. Starting to wind down. It's been a relatively strong practice. Now we're going to relax. One more pose to do, which is a really nice one called Happy Baby. So what I want you to do is open out the legs And see if you can take hold of your big toes with the first 2 fingers. If you've got trainers on, you could hold on to the outsides of the feet, trying to hold on to the bottom. You're trying to bring the knees down towards the outer ribs, and the soles of the feet look up towards the ceiling. So just like a baby does, his feet sticking up and maybe rocking a little bit from side to side. And just making this moment feel happy, content, and doing whatever feels natural to you. Good, let's settle out, bring the legs back together, bring the feet onto the floor, and let's come into Shavasana. So straighten out the legs, open them out, and then open out the arms with the palms facing upwards. Time to relax the body completely. So you want to feel as though you're melting down into the ground. Close your eyes, deepen your breath. I just want you to imagine that when you inhale, you're filling up like a balloon. And when you exhale, you're sinking down into sinking sand. Inhale, you're a balloon filling up. Exhale, you're sinking down, melting into the ground. Just do this 2 more times. Balloon, sinking down, balloon filling up all the way up, and then sinking down into the ground. Let's wiggle the fingers and toes to wake ourselves up fully. Reach the arms up overhead, point the toes away. And then when you're ready, maybe roll onto one side and come to a comfortable seated position. Sitting with the spine nice and tall, chest lifted up. Taking a couple of breaths and then bringing the hands into prayer position. Namaste. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you've really enjoyed the class. I've really enjoyed teaching you. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, then here's my account, or YouTube, feel free to follow me here. And if you'd like any other information or maybe private classes, then feel free to send me a message. Hope to see you all soon. Have a lovely day.